Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Brangus Creations, and thank you for joining me for this live stream today. I do appreciate you all coming along for the ride, and anyone who is watching this on a replay, hello to you as well. Feel free to say good day in the comments. I think I've been accidentally leaving comments disabled on my live streams lately, which is just a stupid thing to do, and I'll have to probably go back and correct all that, but I haven't done that yet. But I'm pretty sure comments work for this one. So I'm just going to do my normal thing. I'm going to say hello to a few people. Hello to Thomas Armstrong, and congratulations on being the first to say g'day in the chat. Joe, hello there. Enzo Fitzhume, Jack68K, Steve from Mac84, Foxhound 477, Foxhound 477, lots there from Foxhound 477. Tev Rudin, hello there. Carthor, hello there. 253 here in Sweden. Goodness me, I do apologise for that. It's very hard for me to keep everyone happy when it comes to time. You just have to stay up. Who always got Gibatronics, windy old Melbourne today. Pretty windy up here in Sydney. I hear from the news that the weather's probably a lot worse in Melbourne. I think they were actually referring to them as damaging winds. Hello to Quicksilver Oz. Hello to 2112ist. That's Sol. Hello to... Oh, it's gone too far. I've just gone way too far. There we go. Oh, that was crazy. Patrick Pitts, hello there. 8WT, hello. Jay from the House of Moth, welcome. K-Mac Vintage, hello there. Hello, Will. Who else have we got? Retro Techie, we've got... every time. Leon, Edate, I think I generally get the surname right, but I stuff up the first name. Colin from This Does Compute, hello there. Audio is a little crackly. I dropped this earlier on. Let me just bear with me and I'll see if I can rectify the audio. Okay, let me know if that's any better or worse or that. Who else got? 0.5, hello. Ryan Joffrey. BC Jeffro. Pedro147. Leon. There we go. Leon. Okay. Audio is a little low. Now let's just check here, okay? I'm up in the orange at the moment. Just let me know if the sound is any better. I mean, if worst comes to the worst, I will go and get my other transmitter. But often when I have a problem with the sound, I switch the little transmitter off and switch it back on again, and then it comes good. Sounds better. Good. Ascertain 20, hello there. Have I missed anyone? I feel like I may have missed someone. But anyhow, I welcome everyone here today to the live stream for me doing something a little bit unusual compared to what I normally do. What I'm normally doing is normally working on vintage Macintoshes. Today I'm working on something a little less vintage. It's still old in the grand scheme of things. So this is a 2012 model MacBook Pro. And so that is, 12 years old? But it's still a bit crackly. What the hell, man? Time to get the other receiver 100%. Oh, God. Let me just, okay, I'm going to try some other things here, all right? It could be the mic as well. Just let me, I want to check something here. If I wiggle this around, am I getting more crackles? I mean, do you think it's like a problem cable? Just let me know, because I'm just wiggling the cable, and if it's getting really crackly, then it means it's probably my cable. If it's just staying steady crackle, then it's probably something to do with the transmitter. When I said still a bit crackly. No crackles with movement. Not a cable issue. Doesn't produce more crackling. Okay. It's fine now, but changing while wiggling. No crackles with the wiggle. Okay. Sean from Action Retro is here. Hello there. Okay. It might be a lack of wine. It could also be a lack of wine, definitely. Mind you, it is a bit early for that. It only crackles when you say something clever. Oh, that's good. Okay, I'm just going to say stupid stuff from now on. Mint patty, yum. Right. Okay, so just Pedro147, You are correct in what you say there, except I was one of the lucky people that got fibre to the premises. I was one of the first suburbs to get a rollout. So I've actually got fibre to the premises, so I've got the good internet. The crackle has completely gone since the cable wiggle. All right, well, let's continue. If it gets bad, you just let me know. I'll go up and maybe get the other receiver, or I've even got a spare one of these microphones. I can go and get another one. So, right, now, as I was saying, this is a 2012 MacBook Pro. Now, just give a little bit of history of the situation with these. This is a 15-inch MacBook Pro. They were available in a 13, a 15, and a 17. Not the 2012, though. The last 17-inch MacBook Pro was the 2011. And, of course, we all know, well, we may not all know, but certainly people who know these, know that 2011 was not a good year for MacBook Pros. 13-inch, no problem. Good, solid machine. 15-inch and 17-inch, they were the ones that were released with two GPUs, two separate GPUs. There was one that was a low-power GPU, and there was one that was a high-performance GPU. And the high-performance GPU, they had manufacturing problems. It was not Apple's fault. Ultimately, this was a product that they purchased and put in their computers in good faith. But over time, they fail. Pretty much 100% failure rate. Just give them enough time. And so the 2011 models weren't particularly good. But by 2012, they had resolved that issue. So when it comes to the 15-inch, 2012 was actually a really good model to have. And I think there was a 2.9 quad-core i7 version. This is the 2.6 quad-core i7. But this is pretty much my daily driver. I do most of my work on this laptop. I have OpenCore Legacy Patcher running on it, and I am running, I think, Ventura on this one. Oh, excuse me. We just need Bruce to talk about the crackle an odd number of times. Crackle is back. Still there. Oh, God, this bloody crackle. All right, so I might have to go up and get some replacement hardware. So if you guys don't mind just waiting a mo, I'll nip up and grab a different microphone and a different transmitter, and we'll fiddle around and see how we go. It's too early for wine, Jay. Beautiful day, though. Look at that, 21 degrees C, clear sky, bit blowy, though. Yeah. All right, 64-bit guy, hello there. So, I do apologise. I'm very quickly just going to do the back soon. I'm going to scoot up to the house. I'm going to grab a spare microphone and a spare transmitter. So, I'll be right back. Hello. There is another thing I can do. I can try using the microphone on this. So you tell me if the crackle has gone now, just using the microphone on the transmitter rather than this separate microphone. Hello, Kai. We're all counting on you. Oh, dear. What did you think of the new Alien film? Quite enjoy it? Sounds better. All right, let's run with that for the moment. Obviously, it means that the thing's under here, so it will probably hit my beard every now and again. But on the whole, hopefully, the sound will be all right. We will just see how it goes. And if worse comes worse, I've got two microphones. Yeah, I'll try one or the other. Yeah. Which one was I just using? That's a very good question. This one, I'm pretty sure I was using this one. Or this one. Anyhow, let's not worry. We'll run like this for the moment, and then we'll just see how we go. We've got to get some progress. At the moment, there's my other transmitter. This is the one that's got a slightly spicy battery in it. Might need to replace it. Still works though. Oh, right. 64-bit guy, have I said hello to you? If not, hello. I loved it. Oh, that's good to hear. That is good to hear. Because I was very disappointed with some of the more recent ones. So the original Alien, great film. Obviously, great setup, suspense, horror. You know, Aliens, fantastically crafted film by James Cameron, except for the little child. She was a bit annoying. The third one, I actually didn't mind that one. The one on the prison planet. A lot of people really down on that one, but I feel like that one has good suspense and, you know, introduced a new element to it, all that sort of stuff. So I really didn't mind the third one. Prometheus, I liked the beginning, and then it just went arse. Then the next one I can't even remember. And then I think there was another one, and that last one was, it was just terrible. Oh man, I was just yelling at the screen when I was watching that one. Okay. I've got quite a few spicy images here. Practical effects, good script, brilliant acting. That is good to hear. Very, very good. All right, so getting back to these little MacBook Pros. So we've got the 13-inch, we've got the 15-inch, we've got the 17-inch. Now, I actually have a few 17-inch ones. Probably the favorite one I have is a 2010 model. Again, they don't have the GPU issue. It's got a dual-core i7. Yeah, it still runs all right, and I love the great big screen on those. 15-inch though, they're good sort of workhorse laptop. This one, which if I just spin it around, this one actually has this way around. This one has the anti-glare screen. Now, what was good about this anti-glare screen, I actually like the glass ones. I personally just prefer the glass ones. They look slicker to me. This cheap aluminium bezel around the outside just always looks cruddy to me, but this was actually a higher resolution screen, so you got more pixels on this screen than you did on the standard glass one. So this one I see as a big plus. This did not actually come from this model. This came from an earlier model, and I had to do a little bit of modification to the plug to make it fit, but it fits. Now, if you saw the thumbnail of my video, you'll see that the liquid damage was actually caused by a cat. Now, my cat loves sleeping on laptops. It's not something that I necessarily encourage, but when he's asleep on there, I find it very hard to move him because he looks so cute. Anyhow, so what I try and do is when I get up, I try and leave the screen if I don't want to actually put the computer to sleep, if I'm in the middle of working and I get up and I leave the screen like that so the cat can't get in there. But if it's open, the cat just parks himself on there, and it becomes like a banana cherry. He sort of just leans back on the screen and stuff like that. And he just gets so comfy. Obviously, they get the warmth because these things generate a fair bit of heat. My friends from the group chat, Dana, Jay, Steve, will all be well aware of the fact that they sometimes get text messages from my cat. Unsolicited text messages from my cat. There was one time where he was just sleeping right near the return key, so it was virtually just like a character, enter, character, enter, character, enter. So it's just a great big long stream of characters that went out. But anyhow, so it's not something that I encourage people do, but if anyone knows me, they'll know that I actually manage to pour liquids into my laptops all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I always keep spare keyboards. You know, I can't really. Oh, thank you, Ryan Joffrey, for that. Are we talking about aluminium here? I need a decoy. You know, Steve, I actually have a decoy laptop. Now, it is another Mac one. It's virtually the same spec as this one, but it doesn't have the high-res screen, the anti-glare screen. But it's virtually the same spec as this one. It's another 2.6 2012 model. And I did do that for a little while. I had that one set up open so that he could sleep on that while I worked on this one. But anyway, hello, Paul. Welcome. And so, you know, anyhow, I left this open overnight. Cat slept on it overnight. And when I got up this morning, there was puke on the computer. It basically went, I've cleaned a lot of it up so you don't have to see anything gross, okay? So there's no gross warning here. Over here, let me just zoom this out a little bit. Okay, so I have cleaned up. So it was all basically over here. So in the keyboard here and in the speaker here. So I'll just have to see what it's like on the other side. There's not going to be any chunks or anything in here because it's the gaps are too small. It's really just going to be liquid and you'll be spared from any of the smell. Now, interesting thing about this laptop, and I ended up having an argument with someone on Facebook about this where they were talking about how they couldn't power on their laptop. And I said, well, you know, it could be a keyboard assembly. And he's like, no, it's the power button, not the keyboard. And it's like, dude, they're all one thing. And he's like, yeah, but the power button's all the way over there. And it's like, okay, just deal with it yourself, however you like. But anyone who has actually worked on any of these and does know about these particular models will see that the keyboard assembly, which looks like this, has the power button up here. Sorry, that's blurry in the corner. This camera gets blurry off one edge. So you've got the power button up there, and then you've got the keyboard down here. And that is your keyboard assembly. While I really like these unibody aluminium laptops, they're very strong, they're very well made, they're very easy to disassemble. One major flaw that they have, and you could also look at it as a feature, is that if you pour any liquid into the keyboard, that keyboard will die. If you get even just relatively small amounts of liquid in there, you'll lose some keys. But the replacement keyboards are readily available and not super expensive. Now, the flip side to that is, because of the backlight, the keyboard is actually sort of like taped, you know, it's sort of like it's got a cover on it. And that does help protect what's underneath the keyboard from any of that liquid falling through. So that's actually a bit of a plus. So Lou has gone, sleepy buyers. I'm going to go see Alien Realm News. I will do. Thank you for dropping in, Kai. I do appreciate it. They're not plastic welded, though, have to replace the whole unibody. Yeah, so anyone who knows these ones, if I can just get the nuts, it's going to be too hard to get hold of. There was a plastic unibody that came out 2010. Does that sound right, or is it a little bit later? But there was a plastic unibody MacBook. They're quite a nice computer, but the downside to them is the keyboards are plastic welded in. Now, you can actually replace the keyboards. I have done this. You remove the keyboards, you bust all those plastic welds off, and then you actually drill tiny weeny little holes and then put screws in and you screw the new one in. And I have done that, but it's not something you want to do often, okay? Not at all. Right, so let's go back to, I've got a side view here, look at that. Hey, how's that side view look? So anyhow, this computer will not turn on. Won't turn on after the cat vomit. It's off. And that could, of course, be all sorts of damage inside, but the chances are, my guess is that it's just this keyboard assembly. It'll have to be replaced. So we'll have to open it up and check it out. It's a feature, not a bug. So many screws, yes indeed. I hope to never replace a keyboard on those again ever. I do it all the time, but as you know, that's because I spill things in them all the time. And I've quite openly admitted, you know, that's just my life, okay? That's just, I just accept that as part of my life, is replacing keyboards and these when I spill liquids on them. I'm not going to change. I don't think the laptops are going to change. Isn't this a cool little toolkit? I love it. So got this up for pretty cheap actually from my local electronics store, being J-Car Electronics. Quite like it. And you can get these ones, virtually the same kit, but with a motorised one of these, but I don't have that. Now, here's a question. Where did I put all my containers? Ah, here they are. Because I did a big reshuffling here a while ago. I did talk about it at the time. And I've set this up so that this is balanced so precariously. All right, so I'm just going to get a little container here so I can put the screws in, because I'm going to have to take a lot of screws out for this. Top view, there we go. Your beard is hitting the microphone just like me, like so. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do you want me to do?
So just trying to
Get you a slightly better picture if I can. I'll do my best. Just going to do this for a sec. This allows me to zoom in to check the focus. There we go. The automatic, what do you call it? Aperture adjustment is making this quite dark because this thing is so bright. Once I get that aluminium off, it will probably brighten up a little bit. You need to switch back to the headset. Every time you look down, it sounds like we're underwater. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So one of these crackles and one of them doesn't. We've just got to figure out which one it is. I'm pretty sure. Oh, hello. Okay, we'll try this one to start off with. Let me know if it's crackling. And if it's crackling, then I know it's the other one. So. All right. Okay. Nine. So this is the headset. I think this is the headset I was using before because I vaguely remember having this little knobby thing here. No crackle yet. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sing something so we can test it. Okay. Someday I'll have money. Money isn't easy to come by. Talk about the crackle again. Yeah. All right. So let's continue like this. You let me know if there's a crackle. I swap over to the other headset. While I remove some screws. So on these models, there are three big screws here, 3 long screws there. All the rest are short screws. Glad you like the singing, Sean. I've got plenty more where that came from. Chickens are really noisy today. I think it might be because of the wind. But I mean, they are just making such a racket. Well, one of them in particular. It's the Australorp. So we say hello to the chickens. I'll just have a quick look. Chook cam. There we go. So just above my head there's a big chicken that's just walking with purpose. Just wandering around with purpose. He's an Australorp. She is an Australorp. They're all female. She is an Australorp, and she is the kind of rooster of the pack. So there are no males, so she has kind of taken on the role of the boss. And, yeah, and she is very noisy. But I tell you what, she's a good layer. She lays some of the big... You'd think they were duck eggs. They're massive. So how long until this VCF Midwest is on? I hear all the people talking about it. Okay, off comes the lid. There we go. So what we're looking for at this stage is anything that looks like liquid damage. And it doesn't actually look like liquid damage here at all. I suspect that any of the issues are underneath. Now, if we are going to replace the keyboard, all of this has to come out, every single bit. First thing we take out, of course, just generally good practice, is remove the battery first, because that means we won't accidentally create shorts or pants. We We need the tri-point. I think this is the size. Let's just check. This is held in with one screw because... No, it's not. It's held in with none screws. In case you are not aware of the situation, but the plastic is very brittle on these batteries. And so when you try and... when you go to undo them or do them up, the plastic just breaks off. And so this has got a screw here that's quite frankly doing nothing. Out comes the battery. But to be honest, it stays in anyway. Oh, there's a critter in here. That can't be good. There's my battery. Still in reasonable condition. This one still holds a pretty good charge. So happy with them. Is it technically possible for a chicken to change sex expression? Maybe she identifies as rooster. I have heard that can happen. That they will even end up trying to mount some of the females. I have heard of that happening. All right, so we've got to get the logic board out. That's this guy here. A little dual fan jigger-wazzer. Now, this would actually be an opportunity for me to go in and test to see whether the logic board is okay. Because there are little pads that you can touch together which will simulate pressing the power button. So if your keyboard is rogered and you want to know if the logic board still works, you could literally just bridge a connection between two pads and it will try and switch on. Now the problem I have is I have got no idea where the bloody two pads are. They're never in the same place. It could be these ones up here. I'm not sure. That they could just be for where there should be a capacitor. I don't know. Jay knows. Jay, are you there? You knows where they are. So I'm very interested to, Sean, I'm very interested to find out how you go with your Mac Pro, by the way. So if anyone hasn't seen, there's been a couple of videos. First one where Sean puts a ridiculously powerful GPU into an old Mac Pro and plays around with that. Then he does the Pixeless mod. And then upgraded the CPU. Please explain the etymology of rogered. No, I'm not sure I will. I'm not sure that's a really good idea, really. So, G4Q fixed yet, or did that cap blow PCB layers out of curiosity? Oh. Right, okay. I'm just sorry. I just keep getting caught up in the chat here, and then I just sort of stop talking. Possibly a good thing. Okay, so now I need these little Torx thingies, but I'm not sure which size I need. So I'm just going to grab one here and see if it's right. First go. I actually really do like having different size screwdrivers rather than having to just constantly change the tips, which is why I do have a complete set of all different size screwdrivers, and I am actually going to grab one of them because I need a Phillips head as well as normal. I feel like some of them have disappeared though. Here's one. There we go. It's not tri-point, is it? Phillips 0000. I've got to undo all these connectors. Connector. Careful with this one. It's really easy to actually lift this whole thing off the board rather than just removing the connector. It's still there, thankfully. So this one here is the hard drive connector. That is the speakers, I believe. This one is the CD-ROM. This one is, I think, Wi-Fi. This one is the camera. This one is the monitor. That's the one that I actually have made some changes to. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of Captain Tape to protect that just for the moment. Whoopsie. Nope. See, Jay's gone already. I asked him a question and he didn't answer me, which means he's left. He turned up to say hello and then just took off. Took off. This one here is the connector for the little battery display on the side. I think that might also have something to do with detecting when the screen is closed, but I could be wrong. And then the keyboard connector and the... What is it? What's the other thing? There's another thing here. Let's have a look. What about the fan connectors? Well, the fans can actually stay on here for the moment. So that's the fan connector there and there. But I'm going to take the whole board off and the fans are going to stay with it. So I've just got to undo that one. The rest of them are actually attached to the board itself so they can come off with the board. So this one here is the keyboard connector. That one there can come out. And this one, I can't remember. Oh, this is a trackpad. That's a trackpad there. Yeah. So I think that's all of them. I think I've identified all of them. So that's all the connectors. You know what is sometimes a sensible thing to do, in particular when you put this thing back, is tape some of these down, because these ones in particular can get really in the way when you're trying to put it back together again. Okay, so let's go get this board out. So I've got a whole bunch of these little torque screws to undo. There's one there. There's one there. This is the one here that I was talking about before. This is connected to... This is where the fan is actually mounted to the case. But in the instance of that screw there... this one I'm not sure. That one probably as well. I can't remember. That one I think is to the case too. So those two have got to come off. And that one there. But this one and this one are actually connected to the board. And this one. I was just Jay, you once sent me, I think it was a while ago, it was a link or an image or something like that, where it was a list of all of the different models of these and where those little contact pads are that you touch together to simulate powering it on. I know where they are on the older models. They were down here somewhere, but on this model, I've got no idea where they are. There could be these ones up here. Who's to say? Who's to say? But there are two things on there. There's the SMC reset, and there's power on, and they're one or t'other, but I can't remember. R506, R5016. I haven't got a board view. I need a picture. I mean, I do have a board view, but I'm not going to bring it up. Okay, there's another screw here. Spotlight took a crap again. Yes, yeah, that rings a bell that it was a PDF. I've probably got it somewhere. Actually, I'll probably have it in my Mac Technical Files. So I have a folder called Mac Technical Files. There we go. Okay, so let's come. Oh, hang on. It's this bloody... Oh, it's all right. I've already undone it. I didn't undo the little backlight. So there's a little thing here. It's already come undone now. But it's a little thing for the keyboard backlight. That was not connected. Wow. Things are getting blown over. It's so windy. Why isn't this coming off? It's something to do with... This one, the 2013s, it just comes out really easy. There must be something else here I'm missing. Connected to something? Oh, look at that. So Jay sent it to me. The two pads are these two here. Right there. Two there. If I make contact with those while it's connected to power, that will power it on. But I just can't remember what's stopping this. We'll find out. It's connected to something. I think I just have to unconnect it. So we just need to show great forth. I mean, it feels like it's screwed into something still. Someone's probably sitting there going, MagSafe board. What about it? It's connected to the MagSafe board, is it? I thought there was a cable there. Feels really solid. I'm going to try and get a look in here and see what's going on. I mean, I had this board out just recently, and I really don't remember having this much trouble, which makes me think that I've done something wrong, that I have missed a step. I mean, it's moving. It wiggles. But there's just something holding it down. Metal clip shroud like you get on G5s. I mean, did I do a really spectacular job of putting this in last time? That I've connected it so it can never be undone again. It's just there. It's just here somewhere. It's something holding it down. There we go. It's probably just being held down by cat sick. Alright, so, once this is out, yeah, it's this stuff. See, that this is like a rubbery stuff for the speaker. So there's the speaker, and here's this rubbery stuff. And the rubbery stuff has probably just got some cat sick on it, and it's just baked on there. So, you know, I'd say that's probably the reason that it wouldn't come undone. Then you've got this little plug here that needs to come undone. That's from the MagSafe board to this. Now, I'm just going to have a quick look at this, quick little observationals, just to see if we've got any liquid on this or any obvious signs of liquid damage. So I'm just going to move this for a moment. And I won't take all the heatsink off unless I feel that there's some evidence of some liquid damage. I will take the speaker off though. And a cutout in the speaker is holding it in. Little microphone. There's a little microphone. Anyhow, we got it out, so we do not need to worry anymore. No need to worry. And I have to say, I'm kind of pleased because this is the side that got the cat sick, and it's not like it's like gross or anything like that. I don't see huge amounts of goop or anything, so I feel like it's fairly well protected, so that's good. Let's just go to the scope view for a moment, and we'll just have a quick little look around the board for anything untoward. There we go. Look at those capacitors. Alright, so just skimming around here. Let's get my little fluffy thing here. My special anti-static fluffy thing. There we go. Oops. And the sorts of things that we're looking for are kind of what you were seeing here. At this stage, I don't think there's any real issue. I mean, this could probably benefit from a bit of an ultrasonic clean. But you can see how these ones are all dark. They're kind of darkened. They're not all shiny anymore. That's an indication there's some oxidation or oxidization, depending on where you come from. And that it could be doing nothing. It could be, you know, still all fully functional. But, you know, if you do have problems, they're generally the sort of places you start looking. Hello. Hello, Chuck. Yeah? Just got a visit from the chicken. Often the places that you will see the liquid damage is sort of up around the top here. But this one actually looks alright. It's fine. I mean, unless it doesn't work after I put a new keyboard in, I would think we're fine. That there is the SMC, or System Management Controller. Replacing those is not a fun job, but I have done it a few times. Let us judge you on the status of the current thermal paste and the application of new paste. Yeah. It's a very, very contentious thing, the application of thermal paste. It's something that I just always do with the camera off and never let anyone see me applying thermal paste. Ever. Because there's always someone that is either telling you you've added too much or you've added too little. So I tend to err on the side of adding a lot, which of course, you know, earns a great deal of disdain from Jay because he is a very sparing thermal paste person. All right. This incidentally has 16 gigs of RAM in it. I have got 2 8s in here. That's, I think, as much as you can install on these ones. It makes them pretty good, pretty zippy. All right, so there's my logic board. Out of the way. Let's pop. Oh, and actually, let's swap spots because I need this chassis now. I brought a microphone with me. There we go. Joe, hello there. Welcome to the stream. If I do actually get this finished in enough time, I've actually got an SE30 that needs recapping. I can always do that at the end as well, just so people can get their vintage fix. Oopsie. Right, now, we don't have to take the hard drive out, but we do have to take the CD-ROM drive out and this little connecting thingy who's a fudge there. Now, one of the things I have found with these is that if you put in an aftermarket backlight, it's never the same. Never the same. But I will either try and maintain the existing backlight or I will replace the backlight. I've got food in here. How did I get food in here? Anyhow, I suppose this does live on my dining room table, so that's always possible. Okay, so we've got to take this little guy off. This is the Wi-Fi who's a fudge. What do you reckon that screw is for? Why do you suppose I put that in a different container? I think it's just meant to be there. And then there, we've got this one here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so that comes over there. Don't think we actually need to take that out. But we do need to get the CD-ROM drive out. We've got 3 screws for that. We've got one Hoya. It's not vintage retro tech, you know. Well, it's actually 12 years old, so in computer terms, it probably is a little bit vintage, come to think of it. But technically, no, it's not the stuff I normally work on. But here's the thing. There are 2 things. First of all, this live stream gave me the opportunity to do that funny thumbnail with the cat yakking up on the laptop. I thought that was fun. That was cute. I've got one of these things where you can actually replace the CD-ROM drive with an extra hard drive. But to be honest, this is a 2 terabyte SSD, and there's heaps of space on it, so I don't really, or is it 1? Anyhow, I don't put much stuff on this hard drive, so we don't really have a need to do that. I'm happy to just keep the CD-ROM drive or DVD-ROM drive. DVD rewriter. There you go. Right, then we've got this little metal piece and this little thing with stuff here. Some of the screws in this are Phillips. Some of the screws are Torx. Don't ask me why there's all this difference. Makes no sense to me. So the cat yacked on this side, okay? So it all went across here. Thankfully, I don't think any got in the speaker holes, or very little anyway. I mean, I might just give that a little bit of a go with a toothbrush and some ISO alcohol, but... Isn't that a lovely zippy noise? My wife hates that noise. cat yak. Okay, all right. Now, there are a few layers to this. You've got this black layer here. Now, this is designed to actually kind of keep light out. This is sort of a light reflecty thing. So it's black on this side, it's white on the other side. And it's designed so that the LEDs that illuminate the keyboard are sort of, all the light is all going out that way and none of it's going out this way. You've got these are the lights here, there, and there. That's where the little LED lights are. And then there's a plastic sheet that has a whole series of little carefully positioned dots. And then these LEDs shine along the side of the plastic sheet, so the edge of the plastic sheet, and then the little white dots glow from the light going through it. And so that's how the backlight works. It just works with these positioned LEDs, and then they're shining light acrossways. But anyhow, we do have to get this thing off. I'm going to be fairly careful about that because I may end up reusing it depending on what it's like underneath. So they've got this great big thick thing here. Hello. Do you want to say hello to the people? No, she doesn't want to say hello to the people. It's a little white chicken. Doesn't have a name. I stopped naming them a while ago. Just, you know. There are these little white dots. I don't know if you can see them, but there are these little white dots in these Macs. And they change color when they get wet. And so Apple can, if you go in with a laptop and Apple can say, hey, you've got liquid damage, and they go, and the customer goes, nah, and then Apple can go, hey, you're lying, I can tell. Undo. What's all that about? Okay, here we go. Now, so as I was sort of saying before, once you get these backlights off, it's virtually impossible to put them back without ending up with like hot spots on the backlight. So once these things have to be dismantled, you kind of just have to accept that your keyboard backlight's never going to be the same. I'm not sure if I've ever successfully done a a keyboard replacement and ended up with the keyboard being as it was originally. Your cat is watching the stream. Hello, cat. Right, so here's the backlighty thing I was talking about. So you've got the little black parts here, and then underneath this black thing, this is the plastic that we have. As you can see, all the dirt ends up in here. And cat sick. That's the cat sick there. So I won't show that on screen too much because no one really wants to see that. I probably should be doing this with gloves on. Yeah. Oh, I tore it. Yep. Okay. So this clear perspex, it has these little white, well, you can see there, well, you can't really see it. Let me have a look in a microscope. Has these little kind of micro patterns on them. Can you see those? See those little tiny patterns? So when you shine light along the side of this perspex, you end up with these little patterns glowing. They go glowy. And that is the backlight. It's very cleverly done. It's very nifty. I'm always very impressed whenever I am working on these. Okay, back to the top view. And now we have the fun part. Shut up, chicken. Okay, so as I say, I do have a replacement. The replacement backlights are never as good a quality as the originals, so just let that be known. Now I have to undo some screws. Some. No time like the present. I am going to find a little container to put these in because where am I going to put them? I'd like to put them in something other than the container I had here. Oh, never mind. We'll just use the container I had here. I've got a little empty spot there. There, I'm going to put them there. So this is a point where we sit here and we talk about stuff, because this is just repetition. Undoing screw after screw after screw. Sometimes these are black. Sometimes these are chrome, these little screws. I have lots of spares of these, so if I lose any, I can just go and grab the spares. Though I think my spares are black ones, but they're still the same size. Yeah. But as you can see, I guess one of the good things about this is that the keyboard really did work as a first line of defense. Sure, the keyboard is stuffed now and needs to be replaced, but it didn't go any further. None got on the board, none got on the speaker. All in all, to just have the keyboard be the only thing, it's probably a good thing. I don't really have I kind of have a bit of a system with these. I sometimes end up undoing the screws in patterns just to keep my silly little brain occupied. Yeah. The keyboard is the moisture barrier, indeed. Incidentally, that thing I was talking about before with the backlit keyboard, it actually is the same with your phone backlight. So they typically have a row of LEDs along the bottom or the top of the screen, and then there's a plastic sheet like that, this sort of thin plastic sheet with those little micro dots. And what they do is they create more micro dots further away than close. So the ones that are closer to the light don't have as many micro dots. So they're closer to the light, and so they glow brighter. But then as they get further away from the LEDs, they put more dots so that you actually get more light. And they do them, when you look at the sheet, the plastic sheet, it's kind of graduated with the dots getting more and more as it goes to the top. And so then that's your backlight for your phone. It's really, really quite clever the way they do it. And then it has a diffuser. That's the other important thing. There's a diffuser, so you don't see the little dots, you just see bright. Why add a 75-cent sheet of plastic to block liquids when this $200 keyboard does the job just fine? Yes, indeed. Well, it's funny, there are some laptops out there that have, not Apple ones, of course, because Apple's not like that. But there are some companies out there that have made laptops that are designed so that if a laptop does actually get wet, the liquid has somewhere to go. It can literally go through and come out the bottom, and it has decent airflow so that the liquid can dry up quite quickly. Having said that, some of those laptops are some of the ugliest ones on the planet. So it's a trade-off, isn't it? I mean, Apple makes some pretty nice-looking products, and the trade-off is that you get a little bit of form over function from time to time. Now, one could argue, well, why should any company produce a laptop that is designed to, survive having liquids poured on it? I mean, it's a computer, for goodness sake. Shouldn't be getting liquids poured on it. Should be more careful. Keep it away from children, all that sort of stuff, or drunk people in my case. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way Apple have always been. Apple have always been about the look. I mean, let's face it. When we end up with these phones or iPads that they make so thin that it's really easy to bend them, or if you have those laptops that they've brought out where the screen is so thin that if you leave a piece of paper between the keyboard and the laptop and you close the lid, you can sometimes end up cracking the screen. And that to me is where they've just gone too far. They've said, oh yeah, look, this is the thinnest ever. And it's like, did someone ask for the thinnest ever? I didn't ask for the thinnest ever. I asked for a whole stack of ports. I want a MagSafe port. I want like 3 USB ports. I want a FireWire 800 port. I want, an SD card slot. What What else have we got? Headphone socket. You know, I love having a laptop with decent I/O. And I also like having a laptop with a replaceable battery, a user replaceable battery. And I'm not talking about it having to be one that clips out or anything like that, but you know, you just open the back up like this. I mean, this is one where you don't need to be a you know, sort of a computer genius to replace a battery. Upgradable RAM, upgradable storage. You know, these are the things that I like. These are the things I asked for. I didn't ask for the thinnest in the world. I do love Retina screens, though. I will say that. I am definitely sold on Retina screens. I want a floppy drive. Have you seen A Quiet Place based in New York City? Have seen A Quiet Place. I've seen the very first A Quiet Place, and I've seen the sequel. I haven't seen the third one, though. I haven't seen that one that came out recently called A Quiet Place Day One, I think that's called. I haven't watched that yet. And I haven't really watched it mainly because the first one, the very first one, the original A Quiet Place, was brilliant. And then I felt like the second one was a bit lacking. And so there's that feeling of like, well, I don't know, do I really want to watch the third one, or I just want to try and remember the first one? Yeah, Lenovo laptops have that black plastic. Yeah. You know, my wife uses a Lenovo for work, you know, and she has a Lenovo for this job she had a Lenovo for the last one. Lenovo's are definitely going to be, you know, like the ThinkPads and stuff like that. They're probably the most used out there in business, and they are one ugly laptop. I mean, you know, let's just be perfectly clear on that. They are one of the most like lack of design laptops you're ever going to see. They look like crap, but do they need to look any good? I suppose they're just work laptop. Who gives a crap? I have 4 laptops primarily that I use. So I've got 4 main laptops, and they all have different purposes. So I've got a 2016. Now, what I like about that is it has a Retina screen. What I don't like about it, it has 2 ports on it. And that includes charging. 2 ports. Freaking stupid. And it also has a butterfly keyboard, and they are just a crime to humanity. But anyhow, I like it because it's got the Retina screen, and I'll often use that when I'm doing screen captures because they come in at nice high res. So if I then want to put that screen capture in a YouTube video or something like that, they look nice and sharp. So that's one laptop that I use. Then I have I think it's a 2015 MacBook Air 11-inch. And that one's actually a CTO, so custom to order. That one has an i7 chip in it, and it has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it has a decent amount of storage, just 1 terabyte or something like that. So someone actually bought a really high spec one, and then I managed to get that one secondhand. So that's a great one because it's so small. So that's one I can just take with me anywhere. If I'm going somewhere and it's like, oh, I might end up doing a little bit of work wherever I'm going, like, oh, I'll just take that with me. It's so light, so easy to transport, and it's not it's about the size of a tablet, but it's got a keyboard and a trackpad. So I really like that one. That's, Jay hates the MacBook Airs, but I'll tell you what, that one is one of my favorite Macs, or favorite laptops. Then I've got this one. This is a 2015 2.6 quad-core i7. This is the one that I probably use the most. You know, it's got a half-decent GPU. This one copes quite well, even in this day and age with Ventura running on it. And then the fourth one I have is a 2010 dual i7, I think it's 2.8 gigahertz, 17-inch. And of course, I love the 17-inch because it's got that great big screen. So if I'm going on holidays or something like that, and I think I might end up having to do a little bit of proper work, like coding or sort of graphics or something like that, I'll take that laptop because it means that I've got that nice big screen to work with. And then, of course, you can always set up an iPad as a second screen if you're out and about. Okay, have I missed any? Yes. Have I missed any more? Yeah. I think this is just stuck on with the cat sick. Yeah, it's just stuck on with the cat sick. All right, now I've got to get the little who's a fudge off. So I'm going to take this off. Just going to put that screw back so I don't lose it. Is that even? Oh yeah, it is. It is even. Has spring started there, Bruce? Yes. Spring started today. Today is the first day of spring, so how about that? Mind you, we have already had, I don't know, the last few days have been so warm. We've had a 27 degrees Celsius day. We've had a 29 degrees Celsius day. I mean, a 29 degrees Celsius day in winter. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm not sure what that is in the UFs, but I'm sure you can look that up without too much difficulty. But, you know, it's like spring or even summer have come early this year. There's no doubt about that. It's 30 in Brisbane. Yeah, I've been looking at the Brisbane weather. It's crazy up there, isn't it? We've got, what was it, Thursday and Friday this week, a forecast to be 29. So, it's really weird. I mean, it's just sort of suddenly gone from jeans to shorts, you know. Body's not used to it. I mean, in summer here, it gets really, really friggin' hot. But you kind of get used to it. You know, you adapt to it with time. But we've had virtually no adapting time. We went from winter to summer and there was no spring. Yeah, so the way we do the season changes here, we do them it's every 3 months and it's on the beginning of the month. So this is the 1st of September. Can you see that up there? No, that's only the time. I don't have the date up there. So it's 1st of September, and it is the start of spring. So then you've got September, October, November is spring. Then the 1st of December is summer. December, January, February. And then March is the start of what we call autumn. The Americans call fall. I mean, one of the things here in Australia is we have lots and lots of evergreen trees. So we don't often get the same impact of autumn with the leaves falling and stuff like that. There are deciduous trees here, don't get me wrong. But I mean, as I've mentioned this in one of my live streams before, I don't have a single deciduous tree on my property. Every single one of them is evergreen. So when autumn comes along, I don't like end up with huge amounts of leaves or anything like that. All right, so here is the old keyboard. I generally hang on to these just for the keys, because even though all of the electronics is rogered, the keys could be replaced if one gets knocked off from a computer. So I'll generally keep the keyboard just to hang on to the keys. I'm going to clean this a little bit for obvious reasons. I might get a paper towel under here as I do that. It was this side with the puke. I thought it was that side. It is that side with the puke. So what's that? It's something else. Oh, well, never mind. Good to clean it. It's probably a bit of coffee. I'd probably more likely to be tea with me. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I do like an occasional coffee. I have decaffeinated because caffeine does not agree with my my system. Makes my heart do funny things. Whatever that is, man, that is on there. Of course, there's going to be a real issue with bushfires here this season because the fire department are well behind on their hazard control burning because we had quite a lot of rain during our winter. And so that's normally the time they'd be going and doing hazard reduction burns, but you can't really do that when it's raining, so they're behind. It's not they haven't done any. For those that may not be aware of the situation here with Australian trees, but it's taken it's a lot worse because of sort of human involvement. But the sort of Australian bushland, the types of trees and everything, it's actually quite normal for fire to come through, and then they regrow. In actual fact, there are some seeds of Australian plants that will only germinate after a fire has come through. So if you are wanting to try and simulate, if you wanted to try and grow those, if you wanted to simulate it, you have to expose them to really hot weather or something like that. You can apparently pouring boiling water on them can sometimes do it. But there are some seeds that, as I say, will only germinate after a fire has come through. And so fire is actually part of the kind of ecosystem here. It's a lot worse than it should be because of, as I say, because of human involvement. But you know, hazard reduction burning is absolutely essential for the sort of Australian bush. All right, that's clean enough for me. I mean, it's only me. It's not like it's customers. All right, here's my good keyboard, and I know this is the good one because it's still got the adhesive-y bit thing for the power button. So I generally stick the power button down first. Up in the corner here, there's the button itself, and there's a little metal ring, and the metal ring is what gives the button this sort of bit of spring there. The things like the eucalypts here, they're really bad with bushfires because of the eucalyptus oil. They burn like crazy. Okay. I should have just taken this Wi-Fi thing off. It would make this process a lot easier. But my laziness is now coming back to haunt me. There we go. It's in. Okay. I've got to screw it in now. I put them over here. Bless you. It's my neighbour sneezing. He's very loud. I have a gigantic ficus in my backyard. I have mentioned it before. Huge fig tree. It's called, I think it's called a short-leafed fig tree, something like that. And it is big, and it occupies, you know, it blocks out so much light from our yard, unfortunately, but it's all right because we're in Sydney. All right, so I've got to get this little adhesive thing stuck down. So this is the power button. Get that stuck down here. Stickety stick. There we go. Love it. And then we work backwards from here. Always be super careful, super sure that everything is, you know, you haven't got anything underneath it because, you know, something's stuck in there, because you really don't want to have to do this again. When I'm putting the screws back in, what I usually do is grab one of these little magnets, stick it on the end of the screwdriver like that. So when I put them into the little container of screws, I can just go in here and pick them up, and then I just grab one that I want. And then I'll often start from the middle and work my way out, but there's no hard and fast rule. I just like doing them anyway, you know. The worst thing is if you screw these on and you find you've got them shifted to one edge or something, and then one of the keys sticks, like the spacebar sticks. You know all that. Oh no, you know all that. No way, no. You know, no, yeah, no. Alrighty, so I watched a film last night. I'm going to just talk about it very quickly. It's a horror film called Oddity. I don't know if anyone has seen that film. I do really like horror films. The issue I have is that my wife is not a big fan of horror films. She likes some, but not others. I am a big fan of horror films with supernatural themes. That has always been my thing. So whether it be things like, like the old Evil Dead movies and that probably comes from being a child raised in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, but really when it comes to popular culture, that's the 1980s that I grew up with. And so there were some wonderful 1980s horror films, things like, I don't know, Night of the Creeps, Creep Show 1 and 2, Tales from the Crypt, God, what about things like Trolls? Anyone ever seen Troll? The Stuff is just, has to be seen. What else? Throw them at me, come on. There's obviously Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness. So I've always been someone who has loved those sorts of supernatural themed horror movies. And so they're the ones that I still seek out today. Chucky, yeah, good old Chucky. Yeah, that's Child's Play with, what's his name? I've got his name just on the tip of my tongue. Can't remember it's nearly there. It nearly popped into my head. Someone will get it there before I do. Before I think of it. Critters, yeah, that's another good one. It's not a good one. Critters is terrible, but it's a good example of, the kind of 1980s horror flicks. Brad Dourif. Thank you, Dana. I knew Dana knows Brad Dourif. Just couldn't think of the bloody name. And anyhow, I've got a large collection of old 1980s horror films. I'll tell you one it's probably 90s, not 80s. It might still be 80s. It might have just snuck in there. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. If you haven't seen Demon Knight, check it out. It's a great film. I really enjoyed it. Actually, I'm probably ready to watch that again. That's one that I sort of have to watch by myself. That's sort of film that my wife doesn't particularly like. She doesn't like stuff with kind of like gross-looking creatures, So if you think of demons and stuff, or if you think of all the creatures in the Evil Dead movies, she really doesn't like those sorts of things. So. And of course, when we do sit down, because I'm a very busy person, I obviously have my normal day job, then I have my YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel occupies a huge amount of time. And so for me, if I have spare time, I'm generally doing something for the YouTube channel. When it comes to sitting down and watching a movie, that's usually like time for me and the missus. And so we end up watching stuff we both want to see. So when it comes to all of my weird and wonderful sci-fi films and stuff like that, I have to sort of find time to watch them if she's gone out or something like that. I released a video during the week of a product review video. If you haven't seen it and then you have an interest in 3D printing, I'd encourage you to check it out, because I had a lot of fun making that video, and I did try and make it very thorough. When I'm doing my product review videos, what I really like to try and do is make them like a try before you buy. So in other words, I might go in and I might, point out some faults, or I might point out some good things. But what I prefer to do is just show you what it's like. Show you what to expect if you were to buy one. Let you make your own decision. I can point out something that's like if there's something glaringly wrong. But I really prefer to just say, this is the way it works, this is what it does well, this is what it doesn't do well, and then you just sort of make up your own mind as to whether you think it's a product that suits you. Hellraiser, classic 1.5, classic one. that movie messed with my brain when I saw that. I tell you, I was at an age, I guess it would have been probably early teens, I suppose, and that was everything that everyone was talking about. Hellraiser. Oh, Freddy Scissorfingers. Yes, I forgot about that. So we've got Friday the 13th. We've got Halloween. Yeah. Do you? Do. It's amazing. I mean, like horror films during the 1980s was a little bit like superhero films at the moment. During the 2010s, I suppose, is probably the time that they're at their peak. I think people are all starting to get a bit sick of superhero films now, which is why they haven't been doing so well. Other than, of course, Deadpool's incredibly good performance recently, but I think Deadpool's almost fits into a category on its own because it kind of bucks the trend. You know, it's that sort of adult entertainment stuff rather than... Why is there no screw hole there? Why? There's no screw hole there. It's almost like this keyboard doesn't quite fit. Never mind. There's enough holes. There's enough screws. I mean, do we really need all these screws? Do we? Okay, screw hole there. Nothing underneath it. It's loco, man. Any idea on how that Creality 3D printer weighs up against the Bamboo Lab A1? I'm weighing up between the two. Now, the A1, I have to go back and have a look. The bed size is a big difference. I think the A1, if I'm remembering correctly, the A1 is like 235 by 235 or something like that for its print bed size. And of course, this one is 300 by 300. So it has a really big print bed, a really big build volume. And that is for me, is the biggest selling point with that one. Now, it is very fast. There's no doubt about the fact that it's fast. It's not as fast as my K1. I was printing something the other day, and I sliced one for the K1 and one for the Ender 3 V3 Plus, and the K1 definitely went faster. But the K1 is also way louder and doesn't have the same build volume. Phantasm. Now, see, I'm not even sure if I've seen Phantasm. I know the name, and I probably have seen it. I probably need to see some pictures to remind myself of that one. Decided to get it. I tried getting into. Hello, Scarlet Sawfish. I don't think I've said hello to you today. Tried getting into. Oh, BC Jeffro. Did I say hello to you? I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean, horror films aren't for everyone. That is for sure. There is a particular thing I like about horror films, and it's a particular formula, and the formula is something creepy happening to someone. No one believes them, whatever, is it real, whatever. Then other people get called in, whatever, and then it happens to them as well, and then it's realized that it's real. It's the poltergeist kind of situation. So in Poltergeist, originally it's only happening to the family, it's just happening in their house. And then they call in the experts, and the experts are kind of like, oh, I once saw a paperweight move 5 centimeters over an hour. and then they walk into the room and there's all this stuff flying around, and you know, it's like they've totally validated that this is happening and they're not just crazy. You know, that, I mean, really, Poltergeist, the Steven Spielberg film Poltergeist, is probably one of the best horror films out there because it does a really good job of mixing horror with humour and story and action. Because you can't just go full horror. It can't just be horror 100% of the time. The film just becomes too hard to watch. You know, it's just you're spending the whole time going, you know, just getting scared and stuff. You need scares, but you need a good mix of other things as well. And humour is often a really good thing to have mixed in as well. In terms of recent horror films, one of the best I've seen in a long time, and it's only an hour long, so it's almost like a TV show, but it is actually a movie, but it's so it's about an hour long. I have to think of the name of it. I can't remember. It's one where everyone's on a Zoom call, so it was kind of a COVID response type movie, and everyone's on a Zoom call and they're, you know, conjuring up a spirit and stuff like that, and stuff goes terribly wrong. And it's just really clever, really, really clever. And another good recent one I think is Talk to Me. That's an Australian film that got quite a lot of critical acclaim. Lost its way a little bit at the end, but it often is the case with horror films. Same with Babadook. Babadook had a lot of good things going for it. That's another Australian horror film, but kind of lost its way at the end. Horror films often get a bit funny at the end. I love The Conjuring, the very first The Conjuring movie. That one I really enjoyed. Really good visuals, good combination of the, you know, sort of the scares with the story and the humour and stuff like that. Never seen The Nun. I saw The Conjuring 2. That's nowhere near as good as the first one. And I think I might have even seen Annabelle. Maybe. Blair Witch Project. Yeah, that was a good one. It was kind of a bit of a flash in the pan, wasn't it? It was that first of the found footage type movies done on a shoestring budget. And while I will say I did enjoy the film, I've never watched it again. I've only ever watched it once, where there are other horror films that make me want to watch them more than once. Blair Witch Project did not make me want to watch it more than once. The original 62 Cape Fear was quite good for its time. Yeah, no, but Cape Fear is the supernatural, if I remember rightly. If I'm remembering rightly, it's a horror based around just an actual person rather than a supernatural entity. And I very much prefer the ones with the supernatural themes. That's just my personal opinion. I've watched plenty of very good horror films that don't have supernatural themes, but the ones that I seek out are those. I remember at the time that Blair Witch came out, I guess it would have been the early 2000s from memory. I remember there was a song that came out by, was it Public Image? I think Public Image Limited, PIL, where they had sound grabs from the movie in it. It was like, this is what you want, this is what you get. This is what you want, this is what you get. And that song was, I thought, creepier than the friggin' movie. Lake Mungo. I didn't really like Lake Mungo. It had some good things about it, but I don't know, all in all, it just didn't work as well as I think some other horror films. There's a great New Zealand one called Housebound. Check that out if you get a chance. That's got some really good humour in it. We're getting near the end, okay? So there's not that many screws left in the little container here. So for anyone who's just starting to get a bit, you know, antsy and like, just want this to be finished, do something interesting. Said to my wife today, I said, I'm going to have to do this anyway. I might as well live stream it. I need my laptop back. So I think I'm going to end up with a couple of screws left over because there are a couple of screw holes here that don't actually line up with anything. So I do believe that I will have some leftovers. Leftovers. That's making me hungry. I'm going to cook steak for dinner tonight. Not a big steak person. I don't eat a lot of steak. Very rarely eat steak. But every now and again I like to cook it. I like to get a nice big thick piece. And I generally just sear it all around the outside. And then I pop it in the oven for the final cooking. And they come out perfect. And of course I use a meat thermometer so that I don't overcook them. Serve it up with probably some sort of mushroom sauce, maybe. Just checking for all the holes here. Oh, there's one. Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding. All right, so I think we're all done, and yes, I do indeed have a few left over. So yeah, we've got a few holes that don't necessarily line up, but I think we'll be all right. It's the what is that? That's the left-hand side, so that's I guess the shift key there. That's the tab key. So there's not as many screw holes around the shift and tab key, but I think we'll be okay. So I ended up with 1, 2, I think 3 left over. So there's 1, 2 there. So there maybe is another empty one here somewhere. Just check again. You want to do it right. Oh, there it is. There it is. Thank you. Okay, so that all figures now. We end up with 2 left over, and it's these ones here that don't line up properly with the hole. And I don't know why they don't line up properly with the hole, but they don't. Okay, what have we got? Oh, Jaws, of course. Yes, I didn't think of Jaws. Jaws is a great film. Yeah, Jaws is something that I can watch pretty much any time. Anytime it comes on, I can just sit down and watch it start to finish. It's such a well-crafted film. It's just beautifully made. And of course, one of the things that ended up happening with that film, out of necessity, was the barrels. When they couldn't get the shark to work properly, the mechanical shark, named Bruce, they had to kind of get all resourceful, and what they ended up doing was coming up with this idea of the barrels stuck to the shark. So all you would see is the barrels coming up, and you wouldn't see the shark, just the barrels. And oh, that was just a glorious piece of filmmaking. And of course, the funny thing about that film is that, you know, no one really thought it was going to be particularly successful. You know, film about a rogue shark. I mean, yeah. And it became, I think, the highest grossing film that year, I think, from memory. I remember seeing that in the cinema, and I was very young at the time. I remember screaming in the scene when, what's his name? What's his name? I can't remember his name. Anyhow, one of the 3 guys in the boat. When he was underneath the boat, when he was scouting out the, what was it? It was a fishing vessel, and there was a hole in it. And then as he's looking through the hole, something comes out. When that happened, phew, I was very scared. We're going to need a bigger boat. Right, so what are people's thoughts? I've got my cheap, cruddy backlight here. The advantage I have with this one is the adhesive is all brand new, but it will never be the same. So this one will probably be a lot easier to apply. This one I have to clean if I plan to use it because it's gross. But there's probably a better chance that I'll get this one looking good, maybe. All of this adhesive is all... I wonder if I can use this adhesive. No. Maybe. Maybe. Keep hearing something. I think it's like an insect stuck in a web. Dude. Roy Scheider, no, the other one. The one... I've got someone else's name in my head, which is stopping me from thinking of the proper name. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Do I use this backlight or do I try and reuse this backlight? No, the other one. The third one. Stop messing with me. How does them backlights work? I am not going to go through all of that again. I will not go through and explain all these backlights a second time because I think everyone will get a little bit bored. Richard Dreyfuss. There you go. God, I was struggling to remember that. Silly old brain. I'm so old. So I've cleaned this one up a little bit. The main problem I have is, of course, the adhesive. That adhesive is never going to be the same again. To get it stuck down. Get rid of all the funky stuff there. New one. You reckon new one? It's just the new ones are never made as well. These ones are made so well. They're so well made. And these ones are not well made. But it will be a lot easier to just plonk this on. It really will. So much easier. I would love to be able to demonstrate the backlight if I had some sort of light here. I don't know if it'll even work like this. If I could get some voltage to these. Let me just have a look. I'm not even sure how many volts these are. I'd start with 3 and see what we get. Okay, we'll start off with a low voltage. I don't want to cook any of these. Let's try 1 volt. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want probes. Probes on this. Let's find some probes. Here we go. Here's a couple. Yeah, these will work. Black. I'm pretty sure these little diodes are like 3 volts or something like that, but I don't want to cook them. Cool. Okay, let's take it up to 3 volts. Yep, there we go. So, There we go. You can actually see it if I do this. Wrong way around. Oh, wrong way around. It's like putting a USB in, isn't it? There we go. I've gone the wrong way. I want one that goes this way. Yeah. There we go. Can you see the way these are lighting up? When the light shines sideways. So when that LED light shines sideways through the side of that plastic, these little micro textures, little dots, glow. Yeah, so that's basically it. If we look at the same on this one, this is the new one. Oh, I'm not sure I'm going to get to it with all this crap on here. All right, we're going to use the new one just because at the end of the day, I really don't care too much about the backlight anyway. I don't work in the dark very often. So this will go down onto here, and then we have to try and get it on in one go as much as possible. So this comes off. This is like that. We have two holes here. We have this little single hole there and this little elliptical hole here. And you sort of put that one in and then slot that one in. And that's how you get the position right. And then I've got to take all of this adhesive off, all this backing stuff. I figure I'm going to cut this. I think it'll be easier to remove if I cut it. There we go. Alrighty. So, what we do is we've got a little metal lug thing sticking up there, and then we've got another one sticking up here, and so we're wanting to get them to line up. So, we'll pop. Hey. Where are you, little thing? There we go. There's that one. There's that one. So that's the positioning. Rudy, hello there. Welcome to the live stream. I've just been replacing a keyboard assembly on a MacBook Pro 2012 15-inch. It got damaged when my cat vomited on it. Now, this keyboard here had this big chunky piece of something here, and I feel like it's there for a reason, so I might see if I can whip this off and put it on the new one. There we go. It was kind of, it was just sort of, there. Okay, so sort of there. Put it on there. I'm sure it has some sort of purpose, so let's keep it there just for fun. Now, I need to get my my thin Captain tape. I want to show you a little trick for any of you working with these, replacing keyboards, wherever the frickin' Captain tape is. I've just got to go find it. It's around here somewhere. I mean, I can't. Ah, there it is. Captain tape! Fighting for justice, Captain tape! Alright, so what I do is I get a little bit of Captain tape like this, and I get this keyboard connector, and I put the tape like this, like that. See, it's sticking to it. Then I get the end, and I make a little loop, like that. And that will allow me to pull that in to the connector when the time comes. Right, so there's the keyboard all set up. We've got this little guy here. This is the connector. And as you can see, he's totally flat. We're going to need to sort of do a little bit of coaxing of that to try and get that curling up so we can put it up in between the fan. All right, now we start the reassembly process. Now, thankfully, this is actually pretty easy. If I could just find out where I put that metal thing. The bracket. I'm going to put the bracket. Oh, here it is. Hasn't gone anywhere. Now, the funny thing about this bracket is it can sort of kind of go on one way or the other. You just got to try and remember which is the right way. Oh, this one had a bit of that stuff on it. What do you call it? I don't know. The spongy bit of metal stuff. Right, so that goes... Does that look right? That looks right, doesn't it? Yeah, that's right. Got a great big long screw there. And a slightly smaller screw here. Hello, RW. You will be pleased to know that this was not some sort of gross, sort of live stream where I went in and explored different consistencies of cat vomit or anything like that. I cleaned all of the worst of it off before I brought it down here, and to be honest, inside it really wasn't that bad at all. There's a bit of scunge on the keyboard, which I've cleaned off now, but on the whole, it was actually in remarkably good condition considering what happened to it. Right, there's our little DVD drive, and we're going to switch over to the other screwdriver for this one, whichever is floating around here somewhere. Come on. What have I done with it? Can't be too far away. I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't moved from this spot. Oh, it's in here. What an idiot. It's behind you. Anyone like a bit of panto? Oh, come on, stop being a pain. Am I the wrong size here or something? Let's see. Damn, someone's got a door that keeps slamming with the wind, so every time the wind blows, you just hear this bang. Oh, man, this is really starting to annoy me. Yeah, there was a lot of hair in the vomit, but we won't, as I say, I just said we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'm going to try a slightly larger one. Yeah, that fits a little bit better. So much easier. The cat's name is Socks, by the way. If you have a look at my the shorts on my YouTube channel, you will find a little video of Socks asleep on my laptop as my laptop quietly tries to convince the cat to go. And the cat will have none of it. Okay, there's the DVD-ROM drive back in there. Then we'll just get the Wi-Fi assembly. Oh, just bear with me a second. Okay, now this one goes down. Yep, okay. I've generally put all of the screws in order of when I took them out so that then I know which ones that have to go back in again. It makes life a lot easier. Going to have McDonald's for lunch today. Special healthy food. There we go. I haven't done the smash the like button. Shall we do that one? Are we ready? Is everyone ready for smash that like button?
Smash that like button.
Yes. Yes. Smash it. What's next? Logic board is next. And no, I'm not going to repaste it. I know that Jay would have liked me to repaste it, but I'm not gonna. Have to connect the... this is always a bit tricky because of the angle. You've got to connect up the power to it. Just like that. And then you can usually spin that around and plonk that under there. And then we've just got to get all these bloody connectors and make sure we get the board in. I'll probably end up having to take the fan off so I can get the little connector for the... oh, I missed one. Out you come. Trackpad connector. There we go. So I think that's all of them. Oh no, this one. There we go. So let's just check and make sure I've got yes. That's yes, 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 yes. So it's just the backlight display. So what I'll do is I'm going to take the fan off. It'll be a lot easier to just get that little backlight thingy and flip it up here. I have to put a lot of these connectors back in with a microscope because my eyes are crap because I'm old. I'm like 51 or something. We can put that back. Ooh. Alright, so let's put all these connectors back on. So that one there, that is for the little battery indicator thingy. This is for the keyboard, and this is I put a little bit of tape before to help me put that in. So slide that in there, and then I can use this to get it all the way in. Are you in? Are you in? Yep. I think it's in. Then that's the trackpad. I won't do that one up yet because I need screw holes. Let's actually screw the board in. I mean, I probably should just connect some power to it and see that it switches on first, don't you reckon? Before I go to all these lengths. So this is a bit dicky, this connector, and the reason why this connector is dicky is because it's not the connector that was designed for. Dedust the fans. Oh, come on. Ask so much of me. Funniest thing, I had someone come and see me with a MacBook Air once that they're having trouble with, and I found it had a little piece of cardboard stuck down behind here that was blocking both fans, or blocking the fan. There's only one fan in there, just blocking the fan access to it. So the thing was bloody overheating. And it's like, did you realise that thing was stuffed down there? And he's like, no. It's like, it's just the perfect size. It just fit in there beautifully. Okay. So we've got that and that and that and that. I do have a connector. Oh, here we go. Is that it? No, that's a mouse. I somewhere floating around here, I have got a cable. It's connected to power, and all I need to do is plug it in, but it's under stuff. Let's see if I can find it. Is that it? Is that you? No, it's not connected to anything. Because for these 15-inch ones, if you're going to power them without a battery, I'm just going to use the battery, by the way. If you power them without a battery, you do need the 85-watt power supply. Yeah, the smaller ones, they've got enough power to charge it, but they don't have enough power to have the computer running without the battery. connected up the battery, and then we're just going to see if the power button works. And we can see some spinning fans here. And I'm not going to get, I haven't even got a hard drive connected, so, oh yes I have. No, I haven't. So I've got, yep, got backlight, so that's all fine. So that's looking good. I wasn't getting that far before. So, you know, McVegemite, can you imagine? One of the things that we did actually introduce to McDonald's out here in Australia, it was an Australian kind of creation, is McCafe. I don't know if you guys have them over there, but they were something that was actually dreamed up here on this funny little continent, where you can get really, really good coffees at McDonald's. And they're very, very consistent. You did get McCafe in the US. Well, you're welcome. Honestly, Vegemite used correctly isn't terrible. Yes, well, I mean, look, I was raised with it, so I like Vegemite. I have to admit, I've developed a bit of a taste for the New Zealand Marmite. Actually quite like it. I mean, I know that makes me like a traitor. Right, then we've got... I really do like the way these are designed. I mean, yes, I've had to take all this stuff out in order to get to the keyboard, but for most of the repairs you do with these, it's just lifting the board off. And that's pretty straightforward. Undo a few... You know, undo a few connectors. Oopsie. You know, sort of take the board out, take off the heatsink. You know, give the board an inspection. I've done quite a lot of repairs on these. Have I missed any? Have I missed any? Remember the I don't know if anyone out here is aware of the probably 2010, 2011, probably 2009 or whatever models of the 17-inch laptops, MacBook Pros. They used to have a little slot in the side. I can't remember for the life of me what the slot was called. It has some sort of fancy name. And then you could buy things to put in them. And I ended up just buying SD card slot for mine, so that my 17-inch MacBook Pro has an SD card reader, because that's a very practical thing to have, you know, with the photography and whatnot, and videography. There we go. Speaker. I think everything's connected, so now I can just put this little Duvalaki on. There it is. There's the other screw. The Maxwell House coffee. Yuck. Yes, I honestly can't say. Australians are kind of coffee snobs. It had a lot to do with the influx of Italians that we had here, who brought good coffee out here, and so, you know, out here you expect coffees to be good pretty much wherever you get them, yeah, I mean, we have a coffee machine here, like a proper coffee machine, not like that filter crap. I mean, like the one that actually pressurizes the stuff through, you know, actual espresso machine type thing. And And because my wife drinks a lot of coffee, I mean, it's like, you know, life's too short to drink shitty coffee. Let's make good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get this here. I'm going to screw in my my one single screw that's not actually holding anything in, but I don't want to lose it. So because all the plastic's broken off these. So the battery is basically just being held in by the by the bottom of the case. Sort of holding it in, sort of. There's a little bit of it there touching. All right. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to pop the case on the back just for protection. Protection. And then we're going to test it out. Oh, God, that's so dirty. That's all the crap that came out when I took the old keyboard out. Dirty. Dirty. Right, let's see what happens. Lovely big chime. The computer is in full voice. There we go. There's my little boot screen from, this is obviously, you shouldn't be seeing a black boot screen for this, but I have to hide my password. But yeah, so I'm running Ventura on this. I'm running Ventura with Open Core Legacy Patcher. Anyone who is thinking about doing that, it is incredibly easy to do. I'm not someone that likes to live on the edge, making sure it's the latest one. I'm not one that's going to say, oh, I want to have Sonoma on this. I absolutely must have Sonoma or anything like that. Up until recently, I was running Big Sur on this and very happy with it. But Ventura brings editable text messages, and that's something I use a lot. I message a lot using the Apple Message software, and yeah, so I really do like having the editability. It's taking a little while. It doesn't normally take this long to start up. It's probably something to do with the fact that it's been switched off and on again. I mean, sorry, the battery's been disconnected. I'd say that has something to do with it, because it's usually, this is, as you probably saw, it's a Samsung SSD. It's pretty zippy. It's a great way of getting a new lease of life out of these things. You know, the RAM's not too expensive, the SSDs aren't too expensive. You can pull out an old MacBook Pro, you drop in an SSD, you put in the maximum RAM, you fire up a newer operating system with Open Core Legacy Patcher, and you know you've got something which sort of feels a lot newer. So, I'm waiting for the. It's definitely taking a long time at this stage. It could be something. I can see the backlight. I've got to wait so I can control the keys to see. It's very patchy. The backlight is patchy. I don't know if you can kind of see that with that camera. You can see how like here it's not particularly bright, but it's bright over here. And as I said before, that is just typical of the aftermarket backlight. That's just how it goes. Francois, hello. You were sleeping. How dare you? I thought you didn't sleep. Someone told me you didn't sleep. As this really does seem like it's kind of frozen up, so I might end up just restarting it. Can't make me wait. Let's try again. Oh wow, it's the bright caps lock. I was just about to say that one of the common problems with these aftermarket keyboards is they've usually got really dim caps locks. Yeah. Oh no, I already did this bit, didn't I? I got this far before. But this one has actually... Oh, I think I had the caps lock key on. No. But this one has got a really bright caps lock key when it's working. If this doesn't boot up, I'm just going to just leave it and let it have a good old think and, have a good think about its life choices and all that sort of stuff. Call someone a numlock. Yeah. But all in all, oh, here we go. He's firing up now this time. So we're all good. Looking good. So I've got my laptop here. How long will it be before Jay sends me a message? Because he always likes to send me a message when I have a computer on screen where his message might come up. So we're good. We're connected to Wi-Fi. That's great. That's connected beautifully. Let's just check the camera. Photo booth. Just because when I fiddle around, I always check and make sure that all the bits work. Light came on. I can see my beautiful face. Okay, that's good. And probably just need to test the keyboard, eh? So, let's go around. Text edit. Does the any key work? I know I've told this story before, but I remember this old guy I used to work with, and he was explaining to a younger staff member about how a particular process works. And as he was going through the steps, and he said, and at this stage, when it comes up and says press any key, you press the L key. And the guy said, why is there any specific reason why you have to press the L key? It says press any key. He said, oh yeah, because my finger's there. Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Keys look good. Looks like they're all working. Up and down arrows are working. It's all good. It's all good. I know the power key the power button works. Caps lock's working. Let's try the back. The backlight is up as far as it will go, and yeah, it's still pretty patchy. As I say, you can see that backlight there. You can see it's a bit patchy over here. But to be honest, it is enough light that if I was working in the dark, I would be able to make out the keys. So that's fine. So I'm pretty good with that. Alrighty. Well, I think that is probably going to be about it for me. And I apologise to anyone who has been sitting here thinking, oh man, I hate this modern stuff. When's the vintage stuff coming on? I am sorry. As I said, my motivation is probably a little bit on the selfish side. I did need to get this working because this is my main laptop, the one I use the most, and I did want to get it up and running today. So I thought I'll come down here and live stream it and banter away while I replace that keyboard. But that's all the problem was. It was just the keyboard. The liquid had got into that keyboard, damaged it, but it hadn't damaged anything else inside. So that was quite good. It was a good result. I'm just going to check the chat here, make sure I've missed anything. But as I say, it is lunchtime, so I want to go and get something to eat. So anyhow, just a little reminder of all the things that are kind of happening and all going on at the moment. If you haven't watched it, please check out my review of the Ender 3v3 Plus 3D printer. Had a lot of fun making it, and I was very impressed with the printer. No, it had some flaws, but as do all 3D printers. But I was really impressed with it, and of course, it has allowed me to do some pretty amazing stuff in terms of print volume, and that's another project video that I've got coming out soon. So the videos that I've got coming out soon, I've got a product review for a multimeter coming out. I have got a project video, which is the building of a replacement case for my Quadra 605 after my original Quadra 605 case fell apart because of the type of plastic that it uses. The script's all written for that one. I've shot a bit of footage for it. I've just got to do all the audio and all that sort of stuff. So that one's coming along. I am working on a tutorial for solder rework. So I've got my beginner's guide to soldering, part 1, 2, and 3. And in those, the beginning one is just like the absolute basics, getting people rolling with that. The second one is building a kit with through-hole components. The third one is a guide for surface mount soldering. And I do actually plan to redo the first one at some stage as well, because I did that many, many years ago, and I think I could do the part 1 a bit better. But the fourth part in this series is going to be soldering rework, and that is not just soldering new components on, but that is taking old components off and then putting new components in their place. So I'll be going through all of the different steps for doing that. So that will be coming out reasonably soon as well. So plenty of content on the way. And what's the other thing? Oh, I've also got to do my follow-up for my laundry sink ultrasonic cleaner. So that's going to be coming out in the not too distant future as well. So I'm really looking forward to doing that one, because that has been there for well over a year now. And I basically want to let everyone know how it's gone, how it works, what sort of things I can clean with it, how well it cleans, all that sort of stuff. Because so many people watch that video and then just declare to me that it's not going to work. I've always loved that. I love getting declarations from people telling me that the ultrasonic cleaner I've just built is not going to work. So anyhow, that's the joy of YouTube comments. So as usual, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate having you here. I appreciate your company and keeping the chat lively while I went and unscrewed and screwed in a gazillion little screws for the keyboard. As I say, content coming, plenty of content coming, so look out for that. And thank you for the super chats and all that sort of stuff and all the things and stuff. So thanks again. Hope to see you at the next one, and bye now.